The Wonderful World of Darklords, Report 26, Rhosis. The city of Rhosis was a balm to my spirit after the barrenness of the grid. The water sparkled as blue as sapphires in the sunlight, and the trees were a riot of autumn colors. Graceful marble arches and intricately painted tiles filled the city itself. I knew that Rhosis had a reputation as a haven for refugees from across the domain, since its natural beauty almost seemed like reason enough. There is another reason that the dispossessed and desperate flock to Rhosis, however. The king, Magnifico, is a powerful wizard who has the ability to grant the wishes of the populace, and to take away the pain of unattainable desire in the meantime. While this urge is understandable in lands with little hope, it will come as no surprise that the people of Rhosis are giving up more of themselves than they intended. The Lord. The people of Rhosis idolize their wizard king, Magnifico. I could not travel more than a block without encountering a mosaic, tapestry, or baked good bearing his face. However, unlike some other domains, it does not seem as if Magnifico is forcing his image on an unwilling populace. The people genuinely adore him and freely choose to make him the focus of their creative endeavors. I like to believe that even before touring the other domains, I would have found this behavior suspicious. According to the locals, Magnifico suffered some unspecified tragedy in his youth that led to the destruction of his home. Seeing his own hopes and dreams in shambles while the ambitions of evil men came to fruition, Magnifico realized the power of wishes. A futile wish could bring nothing but despair to the one who held it, while a cruel and self-serving one could likewise bring only despair to those caught in its wake. Magnifico resolved to study the arcane arts and to found a new kingdom based on 3 principles: that the worthy would see their wishes come true, that the wicked would never inflict their wishes on others, and that no one would be tormented by the poisoned promise of an impossible dream. Today, Rhosis throws its doors open to all who are willing to entrust their wishes to Magnifico. The resulting populace is complacent, unimaginative, and thoroughly dependent on their ruler, but they claim this is the price they chose to pay, and that they would happily pay it again to be freed from the burden of hope. The land. The physical and spiritual heart of Rhosis is the amphitheater that hosts its wish ceremonies. Every month, Magnifico grants a wish to a single citizen of Rhosis, chosen based on the merits of both the wish itself and the one who made it. As far as the merits of the wish are concerned, Magnifico grants only those which have no chance of causing harm either to him or to his kingdom. A wish that is selfish, destructive, or simply open-ended has no hope of coming to pass. Such potentially treasonous wishes were more of a concern in bygone days, when anyone could hope that their wish would be granted if Magnifico deemed it appropriate. Today, however, it seems unlikely that he would ever choose anyone with designs against Rhosis for the honor of a wish ceremony. It is a rare ceremony indeed that does not feature someone who has somehow distinguished themselves in service to the king. Whispers of unrest, rebellion, and dark magic have led Magnifico to declare that he will grant the wishes of anyone who assists him in stamping out treason. Even in months when the king grants a wish from someone other than an informant, it is invariably a personal favorite who has proven their trustworthiness. It is easy to distinguish those who have had their wishes granted from those who have not. They have a passion and vitality that is lacking in their docile brethren. This passion is almost inevitably channeled into fanatical loyalty to their king. While this could be explained by simple gratitude, a cynical person might point out that Magnifico has a vested interest in guaranteeing the loyalty of those whose wishes he grants, as he can no longer dangle that particular carrot before them. It also seems that any wizard with the power to extract one's hopes and dreams would have the power to mold them into something advantageous to him. Of course, it may simply be an exaggerated version of the populace's general infatuation with him. While Magnifico paints a dire picture of traitors lurking around every corner, I found that most of the people of Rhosis were eager to help flush them out, particularly because these traitors had discovered forbidden magic that allowed them to destroy some of the wishes in Magnifico's keeping, turning the people they belonged to into broken shells who rarely survived more than a few months. It struck me that the rebels must have been wildly incompetent, for they always seemed to crush the hearts and wills of those who were less than useful to Magnifico, rather than those of his more effective cronies. And surely it was a coincidence that immediately after wishes were destroyed, Magnifico would often perform some mighty magical feat that he had never managed before and could not repeat afterward. Dread possibilities. Magnifico was more than willing to give me an audience, granting me a guided tour through his palace as he bloviated about his accomplishments. While his self-aggrandizement was tedious, I admit that his magical library was every bit as impressive as promised, and he took clear enjoyment in my expression upon seeing it. I noticed an empty case on one wall, ringed with abjuration runes. When I asked about it, he told me that it had once contained a book of unspeakably dark magic, and that the rebels had breached the case's defenses and stolen it. I suspected that anyone with the power to overcome Magnifico's protective magic would have been able to do far more damage to his regime than destroying a few wishes seemingly at random. When I turned the conversation to the wishes, I expected Magnifico to dismiss me on the spot. They were both the source of his power and the only thing his citizens seemed to care about, and I doubted he would want to discuss them with an outsider. To my surprise, however, he became expansive, waxing poetic about the beauty of the wishes, the power they held, and the danger they represented in the wrong hands. However Magnifico might be managing his people's wishes now, I believe that at some point he truly did see himself as their guardian. That said, the edge of paternalistic smugness in his tone made it clear that they had become nothing more than prizes and trophies. I was not able to actually see the wishes, and Magnifico's defenses were too thorough for me to seek them out independently. On my way out of the palace, I caught sight of Magnifico's apprentice, Asha, peering at his walls as though searching for secret doors. Curious, I used Eldritch Sight just as she turned toward me. We stared at each other, each seeing the other's eyes shining with divination magic. In her case, a glow that looked for all the world like her eyes were microscopic galaxies. Asha was using Eldritch Sight as well. She was not only Magnifico's apprentice wizard, she was a warlock. I opened my mouth to speak to her, but she ran away before I could say anything. While I believe that Magnifico's reports of dark magic are overblown, it seems that he truly does have a rival arcanist beneath his very roof. Parting thoughts. Whatever good intentions Magnifico may have had upon founding Rosus, he has resorted to exploiting the trust of his people and hoarding their hopes and dreams like a miser. I wish I'd had the opportunity to speak to Asha. I would like to know whether she is working against him for her own selfish ends, as Magnifico suggests, or whether she is attempting to give the people some measure of control over their own destinies. Regardless, I doubt there is any hope for the people Magnifico has mystically neutered, unless they can somehow regain their wishes. It is with some trepidation that I prepare for my next destination, as it has a reputation for being particularly haunted. Holding a death certificate as a mist talisman, I entered the mists, my ears straining for the mansion's signature sounds. I will know I have arrived when hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls. That is the time when ghosts are present. Regards, D.
There are many in these realms who long to obtain their heart's desire. The ability to extract that desire and grant it at another time is wholly unique, with near limitless potential. Yet Magnifico squanders it on a frivolous display of magic to subdue an already placid populace. A king leads his people. Magnifico ensures his people are completely dependent upon him, yet complains when he must continue to carry them. A wizard creates and shapes the world around them. Magnifico merely steals this ability from others. He is not worthy of the title wizard, nor king. Perhaps the charlatan nanny would be more appropriate. My little scholar has observed the horrors the common people face on a daily basis. But imagine what they would be like without hope. From peasant to king, hope drives us all. Without it, there is no reason to press on to achieve what some may deem unattainable. At times of great despair, we may view hope as a curse, as nothing more than intrusive thoughts to keep us forever trudging forward, despite the desire to abandon our efforts and rest. Without hope, there is nothing, and that is what Magnifico has achieved in Rosas, a realm as empty as a starless sky. A pity such power would fall into the hands of the incompetent and uncreative.
This has been The Wonderful World of Darklords. We have no affiliation with Disney or Wizards of the Coast. All music recordings used in this episode are in the public domain and were obtained through museopen.org. Titles and links are in the show notes. Dialogue for Yensid was written by Aslan Rex himself, who you can follow on Tumblr at darklordaslan. The Wonderful World of Darklords logo was designed by Haylight Jones. You can find links to their work in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show, look for us on patreon.com or find our tip jar on Red Circle. Thanks for listening.